stop along the march route in a busy part of London, and we really make it clear to people why we're here. And this
hunting! Backward hunting! Man-can hunting!
Man-can hunting! Save our lions!
Man-can hunting!
Save our lions! Stop the trophy hunting! Man-can hunting! Save our lions! Man-can hunting!
Save our lions!
Save our lions! Save our lions! Man-can hunting! Save our lions! Save our lions! Save our lions! Save our lions! Man trophy hunting!
Man-can hunting!
Save our lions!
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 All of us must make a stand. Last night, those of you that came to see Blood Lions, a powerful, moving film that all of us must watch, all of us must share, because it shows the cruelty, the greed and the corruption that is allowing the destruction of Africa's wildlife. And we must speak up, we must shout out. That's why here in London, in Cape Town, in New York, in Sydney and other countries around the world, people are marching for lions. Are we all united for lions yet?
Yes!
We are making a difference. The French government have confirmed over the last week that they're going to stop the import of lion trophies. What do we say to that? The British government had a debate in Westminster this week, and they debated it with MPs. The anger was there across all parties. They're now going to say they're going to review for the next 2 years the sustainability of trophy hunting. Do we want a review or do we want an outright ban now? What do you want? Exactly. And we say this to the Americans as well. You must take action against your hunting and shooting lobby that is going to Africa and desecrating the country and destroying its wildlife. No more can American rich hunters do what they do, like our friend Mr. Palmer, and go to Zimbabwe, go to a national park, get a lion that was collared as a research project, try and kill it with a bow and allow it to die 40 hours later having to be shot because of the pain and suffering, and then to not even stand in court as a criminal. Do we all believe that man is a criminal? Yes! Exactly. So it's corruption, it's greed and it's ignorance, and we must keep fighting it. So the people of London, people of the world, we don't have much time. We probably have 20,000 or less lions left. In the next 5 or 10 years, we will have to make the difference by stopping the insane hunting of these animals forever. Would you agree?
Yes!
Let's march to Trafalgar Square. Let's make some more noise. We've got plenty more to say. Let's make London. Thank you. Save our lions!
Extinction is forever!
Save our lions!
Extinction is forever!
Save the lions!
Stop being portrayed!
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 Save the lions!
To kill such animals, it was almost like a religious experience for her. She could smell and get close to them and felt part of nature. Complete rubbish, of course. But I came out of that interview and everyone was going absolutely insane on social media. And immediately Kay Burley on Sky said, "Dominic, we want you to do something live with us now." I did it.
And that was rolling, and every other news network was seeing it. And the BBC rang and said, we want you to come up on the train to Salford. We want you on BBC Breakfast in the morning. We want you on today. And I got on the train, got up there at midnight, got into the hotel, got 4 hours sleep, and I had 14 interviews lined up by the morning. And that was down to you. It was down to the social media and the fact that you were angry, that you were generating that awareness in the media. They couldn't avoid this story. And I went in at 6 o'clock in the morning to the BBC's offices at Salford, which is a very quiet place at that time in the morning. And it was me and a security guard on all the channels that were just broadcasting, and they all had Cecil. And then I looked at the newspapers, and the front pages of most of them were Cecil. And the security guard said to me, "You the Lion Man, you're going to be busy today." And he was absolutely right. But by the time I'd finished, with hardly any sleep over 24 hours, and I'd done Al Jazeera and CNN and BBC and Channel 4 News, this had reached tens of millions of people around the world. My colleagues in America were doing their interviews. Lion Aid were doing their interviews. I4 and others were doing it too. And we had Cecil broadcast on the side of the Empire State Building. I had Nancy Sinatra contacting me on social media saying, "You're doing a great job," amazing people, things like that going on. But you know what was really fascinating is when you were talking to journalists about this, they just weren't aware of it. And I do interviews all the time, and people like Jeremy Vine, they're very professional. They don't show their emotions. They didn't hold back on this. I had to calm them down. They were that angry. How the hell could we kill a lion? Why would this man be able to go into a national park and take a bow and shoot a protected lion as part of a research project with a collar on it? Well, we all know why. Because this horrible business is driven by greed, ignorance, and corruption. And what we see in Zimbabwe is what we see across Africa. But you can't blame the African people. But you can blame the rich Westerners, or those in Asia, or those in Russia and other parts of the world that want to get their guns and want to go to Africa to kill these animals. Don't you agree?
Yes!
But you know what? We've woken the world up to something. We've made people sit up and think that actually we are responsible for the planet we share these animals with. And we have an opportunity to protect them for future generations. And admire the wonder and beauty that the natural world has provided us with, which we have no right to destroy, to take animals to make rugs out of them and put their heads on our walls. And what I liked about Bloodlines, because it's a wonderful piece of work, is they did go to the United States, and they did look at Safari Club International. They did go to their Las Vegas convention. They saw firsthand what was going on, but they didn't have to interview or try and manipulate the people to say certain things. They spoke the words for themselves. They were proud of killing these animals. They said that they thought they were doing the right thing for wildlife. They're conservationists. They are nothing better than eco-terrorists. Let's be clear about that. We know terrorism. We saw it in the streets of Paris. It's brutal, it's disgusting, it's horrible. But these people are doing the same sort of terrorism to our wildlife, and we have to call it what it is. And it's not acceptable. ISIS are scum of the earth and are not acceptable. But I'm afraid these people doing this are also horrible in my view because of what they're doing, destroying nature and that beautiful world in which we live in. And we have to stand up and say that we, as a caring, compassionate world, are no longer going to put up with this nonsense. We're not going to allow our politicians to make this stupid excuse that it benefits environment or it benefits local communities. We're not going to allow certain environmental groups either, or research groups continue to make that case, because it doesn't stack up. We know, Bloodlines last night when you watch it will show you how much value there is in this African tourism business and how tiny the amount of money that's generated. But certain people are making an awful lot of money, and they're going to get much richer as a result of this, and they don't care if these animals go extinct as long as they can cash in. And it isn't just lions. We saw the court case in Pretoria on Thursday. Yes, a certain gentleman that breeds 1,200 white rhinos in South Africa and spends 5.2 million rand a year feeding them and looking after them, says he can no longer afford to pay for all of that. He'll have to cull those animals unless he can sell the rhino horn. So he won in court. So now you basically have a domestic market in rhino horn, in the most endangered species in the world, reopened in South Africa with no effective export controls. So anything that goes into that market will flood into Asia. There are farmers, ranchers who breed these animals that are sitting on hundreds of millions of dollars of rhino horn, and there are certain people in the government within the ANC that will benefit too in a corrupt way by destroying these animals. And we've got to say enough is enough. We won't allow that to happen. We won't allow South Africa to abuse its position in CITES next year to reopen this trade in rhino horn. We won't allow it to continue to build its lion breeding business to offer bargain basement killing to hunters from around the world and the international community, and that includes China, includes India and developing countries as well as Europe and the United States, have to say enough is enough. Would you agree?
Yes!
But we have to keep our voice strong. Because of what you did about Cecil, you brought to a global community recognition of something that many of us here know about and have thought about and have got angry and upset about for many years. Because we have bloodlines, because there are other films in the pipeline that are being made at the moment as well, the world will not be able to shut its eyes to this horrible business. But never ever underestimate how greed can keep things going. And never underestimate the cruelty and ignorance that feeds that as well. So we've got to be ambassadors and warriors for wildlife. We have got to tell other people that you don't go on holiday to pet lions or walk with them when those lions are going to be destined for the guns of hunters. That you do not support businesses that support cruelty and killing. And that it is not morally acceptable, it's not morally acceptable for you to go and kill an endangered animal to make a rug from it. Would you agree?
Yes!
We will shame these people. We will ostracize these people. We will put such pressure on our governments that they've got nowhere to go. And within the next 2 to 3 years, because of this movement, we will shut down those lion farms in South Africa. We will start to shut down the international safari club business that allows these rich people to destroy the most endangered precious animals on this earth for money. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes!
It's within our reach, and we can do it. But we've got to keep marching. We've got to keep protesting. We've got to keep using social media. We've got to keep winning more people over to what we're doing. We cannot rest. We cannot sit on our laurels. Because if we do, in the next 5 or 10 or 15 years, most of the species that we're concerned about, lions and elephants and rhinos, will have largely disappeared, except in some prison zoos and safari parks for us to gawp at. Do we want to be the last generation on this planet to see these animals in the wild?
No!
We've got to make a stand now, and we are, and we're making a difference. So keep fighting. Thank you very much for coming out today, to all the people, Paul Tully and everyone involved in this march, to the filmmakers of Blood Lions. And I look forward to marching again over the next few months and seeing this global campaign continue to grow and more people coming into it. We're winning. We're going to keep fighting. We're not going to give up. Thank you.